The most compelling podcasts are often the ones that have mastered the ability to record high-quality audio, to implement sound effects and music and recordings, to paint a picture, and to draw the listeners into the story that's being told. In today's video, we're going to cover everything that you need to make your podcast sound more professional. The equipment, the recording techniques, and how to edit to create a cohesive audio narrative, all woven together with musical interludes and illustrative sound effects. Let's start off with the equipment. Now, because you're here, I know that you're interested in ways to sound the absolute best, but at what cost? Let's go over 3 different audio packages at different price points, and we'll compare them so that you can figure out which one is best for your needs. Bundle number 1 is the most basic and most cost-effective. It's actually basically free. What we're gonna do is record with a cell phone about 4 inches from our mouth, and we'll build a little corner out of sofa cushions. This is by far the most inexpensive and DIY setup, but I think you'd be pleasantly surprised with how good we can make this sound. Let's take a listen. In today's episode, we'll be going over how to record audio for your podcast. Bundle number 2. Let's say that you're recording an interview with a guest and a pillow fort isn't the vibe that you're after. Bundle number 2 is a mobile setup that allows multiple microphones to be recorded quite easily. For this, we'll need a microphone, which will run about $150 to $200 for a decent microphone. We'll need a cable and a stand, and a recording device. In this case, we're looking at the Zoom PodTrack P4, and this records to an SD card with batteries. This whole setup will run around $500, plus about another $150 to $200 for additional microphones that you want to record. Keep in mind, if mobility isn't a concern and you don't have other guests coming on your show, you could save a lot of money by using one single USB microphone and plugging directly into your computer. If this is something that you're interested in, I'd check out the AT2020 USB, the Rode NT USB, the Shure MV7, or the Rode Podcaster USB. I'll link all of these down below so you have access to those. And bundle number 3, this is the whole kit and caboodle, the whole cat's meow. This is the multiple microphone setup with a recording device that works as a mixer for live shows. You can program your sound effects to the buttons for intro music, vocal processing, all sorts of great things. This would be ideal for a more permanent setup that accommodates up to 4 speakers. This type of a setup will run you around $2,500. One of the most important things is the space. So let's talk about the space where you record. Now let's be real, most of us starting a podcast don't have the luxury of building out our sound studio or sound stage with treated walls. Realistically, we're pretty much all starting out in our living rooms. So how can we maximize the audio quality of a space like this? There are 2 main ways that we can do this. The first way to do this is to add some soft surfaces to our space to stop the reflections from bouncing around. Now you'll see behind me I have sound panels. You can get something like that, but you can also use sofa cushions, moving blankets, tapestries, a pile of clothes, whatever you need to do. That's really gonna help cut down that reverb time in your space. I'll link a really cool video from Caleb Pike down below. He built some awesome mobile moving blankets that you can just roll around your space, and maybe most importantly, you can roll out of your space when you want to turn it back into a living room. The second way to easily improve your sound quality is to get really close to the microphone. It's really simple. Let's take a look at Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard. Their room does have some panels. You can see a couple up here, thick curtains, a rug, some soft furniture, but they're also always nice and close to their microphone. You hear this a lot in podcasts. It creates a really close, intimate tone similar to what you'd expect in radio broadcasting. This sound is associated with high quality broadcast audio, and your listeners will feel pulled into your storytelling. Just listen to this difference. Here's my voice recorded at 2 inches away, and here's my voice recorded at 2 feet away. Notice how much more room noise comes into play when I back away from the microphone. The third thing that we'll consider is the editing process. In addition to a seamless edit, we can incorporate sound effects and music to help progress our narrative. The first thing we want to do is remove sections where we may be rambling or going on a little bit too long about a certain topic. This will shrink down our recording significantly. The next step is to go through and remove some of the longer pauses, the ums, the ahs, and really just help our story flow. Remember that it's important to keep some of these. You'll need to use a bit of discretion because thinking and pausing can be a really natural part of speech, and it may actually be helping to tell our story. We can use this opportunity to remove any false starts. False starts are when you start recording, but you stumble. So you retake that line and remove the first part in post. See what I did there? Once we're happy with our edit, the final step is to add music and sound effects to immerse the audience into our story. This will help give context to our talking points, but it also works to transition our audience from one story to the next, or from one location and time to another. Adding sound effects is a great spot to be creative, so have some fun with it. We'll need to make sure that our levels are appropriate for where you're delivering your files. This is completely dependent on what platform you're uploading to. If you're delivering to Spotify, for instance, you'll want a loudness of -14 LUFS. And we can make a whole other video explaining loudness, but for now, I strongly recommend checking out this video. This is the absolute best resource that we have for spotting small audio issues in your audio. I hope today's video is helpful. We'll see you guys over there.